Okay, I'd like to call the Joint Special School Building Committee to order. We're at Fairgrounds Middle School. It's Thursday, August 26th, 2021 at 7:04 p.m. in the 7th grade Wing Commons area. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman Dow.
Present.
Alderman Wilshire.
Here.
Alderman Clee.
Here.
Alderwoman Liu is absent. Clerk is here. Miss Raymond.
Here.
Miss Johnson is out, correct?
Yes.
Miss Bishop.
Here.
Miss Brown is out. And Miss G.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. If there are no objections, I'd like to waive the reading of the minutes of July 22nd, 2021 and place them on file. Remarks by chairman. Glad everybody could come for the tour this evening of Fairgrounds. We have, it's about 99.9% done. We'll be ready for school opening on Tuesday. And we just had a tour for aldermen and Board of Ed members to take a look at all the changes. So thank you everyone for coming. Remarks by school administration. Anything, Mr. Smith?
Nothing tonight.
Nothing. Okay. Okay, so first item on the agenda is the architect's report. Jamie?
Hi, good evening, everyone. Jamie Willett with Harriman Architects and Engineers. So I wanted to take a moment and thank everybody for walking the tour. I think clearly everybody could see that there's some beautiful work happened here, and it's quite a enhanced school from where we stood a little over a year ago. So I don't have a lot to report on Fairgrounds. You could see that you've got to see where it is, but for the people at home, like Alderman Dowd said, it's just about there. There's some punch list items, which again are the items that we go around and review and kind of make sure that it's finally complete based on our construction documents that we create for Harvey. And there's a few items here and there. But it looks like they did get their the school did get the certificate of occupancy I think it was late last week, and so it's ready for students and staff. So we're all very excited for that. Over at Pennachuck, construction continues. We are working on some submittals and RFIs, which are the pieces that come in to verify the products for the submittals of the verification of the products being used in the school that they conform to our expectations for a quality construction. And then also the RFIs are questions that come from the field on clarifications on the construction documents. So those are still in progress. There are a few adjustments being looked at for the design. Based on some review with administration of the school and the intended use once it finally opens, and some modifications in like the admin space that we're looking at. So we'll be preparing some documents for Harvey to look at and see if there's any cost implications for a couple of those adjustments, and those cost implications could go up or down. There is some subtractions of work as well as maybe some additions. So once we finally see where that lands, we'll be able to report that in one of our up-and-coming JSSBC report meetings. And then a few other odds and ends over there. I was over there today for a construction meeting. Very, very excited to see the progress that's moving along out there. If anybody were to drive by, they'd see a building going up, and I think Ken will be sharing some of those photos and some of the progress that's going on over there. Over at the new middle school, I think the biggest news that we have for there is we were able to issue the construction documents off to Harvey. I think it's about 2 weeks ago now. That's in their hands for pricing. They are working on pricing. I've been seeing some RFIs, again, questions for clarification on items. And Harriman is continuing to work on what we call addenda, or addendum as a singular would be. And those are just items that were either not shown in the original construction documents that need to be finalized, or some clarifications when the questions come in. We need to update that in our construction document set. So if there was a question and we realize we didn't show something or it needs to be clarified, we'll modify our documents and send them back off to Harvey with a revision bubble so they can see where those changes are. So we're working on those. There's one of the addenda will be coming out on Friday to them, and then we have maybe another one or two after that. Prior to this construction document set, there was a civil pricing package, allowed Harvey to get a little head start on pricing a portion of that document, of the documents, and they've been working on that, and I believe pricing is due for that in the next day or two, I believe. I don't know if there's any adjustments to that, but Harvey can speak to that one if they'd like. We have had a few meetings since our last JSSBC with city entities and committees and whatnot. We have recently had a conservation committee meeting on the project. I'm trying to think how long ago. I think that was after our last JSSBC. We were able to present the project and review the progress on that. There was a vote to not recommend the project to zoning of 3-2. So that went to the zoning board last week. Boy, is it last week or this week? It was this week, right? Yeah, it was Tuesday. Apologize. Reviewing the project with them, it was decided to table the project until the next zoning board meeting so that we have some time to revisit with the Conservation Commission and look at some additional maybe improvements and stuff that we're working on over on the site itself. As we've spoke about in the past at the JSSBC, there is some vernal pools and wetlands areas in that existing site. That was some of the preservation area that was shown all along in those documents. There's some concerns about the sensitivity of that habitat up there, so we're looking at ways to help preserve that a little further and maybe make that a better place for some of the natural creatures that live in that area. So we're continuing to work on that. Coming out of that zoning board meeting, I think we have a meeting potentially next week for a working session to review some of that with the Conservation Commission. So we're excited to be able to do that and meet with them next week. Following that, we'll be up and coming. We have another planning board meeting on a portion of some of that property, and then another zoning board meeting will come up here in, I think it's approximately a month or so. So progress continues over there. We have submitted to the alteration of terrain permit for New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, and so that is being looked at up at the state level. And I think that that's kind of where the new middle school is. I think we're working on getting that moving here. So.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Now we'll have the construction manager's report from
Mr.
Harvey.
Chairman, can I ask a question, or do you want us to hold off on questions?
No, you have a question?
Yeah. It was
Fine question.
about the conservation issue and the vernal pools, if that's okay?
Okay.
Thank you. My biggest concern is the biggest what if we do hit this stumbling block, if we can't get what would be lost, and so on. And I'm not saying that one is better than the other, so please don't take it at that. I just want to know if for some reason we can't move past this issue, which I think we can. I think you guys will all, figure out what can work out and so on. But if we can't, what would be lost? I know.
Well, I don't think we want to cross that road until we get to it.
Okay, that's fine.
We're taking this one step at a time.
No, and I understand that.
Yeah, I think we're going to have that meeting next week with the Conservation Commission and review the project and see where it goes. So I don't think we're at that point yet to determine what is or has or isn't lost yet.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, my biggest concern is if it becomes creates a cost override, or if there's some kind of issue, but I'm happy to, and I'm satisfied to wait to find out what the future brings for us,
Yeah,
so,
I
thank
don't
you.
envision anything being a cost override.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Ken?
Thank you, Alderman Dowd. So I'll start with the construction report. I'll give a few updates on Pennachuck Middle School. So I guess if for the folks in the room, I'm on slide number 2, page 1. So this is, I guess the most important thing is what is school going to look like on day one. So one of our challenges of having a construction site with an occupied school, an active school, is how do we do our work and keep everybody safe and keep the site moving as it does during the normal school day. So I know this drawing looks like there's a lot going on. There's a lot of arrows and fencing and different types of lines, but a lot of thought went into this with the help of Mr. Smith's team, the school principal, the vice principal, and their staff. We also reviewed this plan with the fire marshal and the building inspector. So this plan is actually in place as of now. Finishing touches going down tomorrow. So on Monday when the teachers return, all of this will be in place and ready to go. Last Friday, we did review the life safety and emergency egress plans with the fire marshal and the Nashua building inspector. They'll be returning tomorrow to review that with us just to make sure everything's in place and taken care of. So again, they're on board and ready for, they're in agreement with what we have in place. Some construction updates: the boiler room and the new chorus additions, the metal framing and the roofing has all been completed. Concrete slabs are also completed as well. So those two additions are in the probably lower, if you're looking at the photo, the lower right-hand corner of the building. The south addition, which is at the, I guess the bottom of the building, the south of the page, we're actually placing that concrete slab tomorrow. Almost 200 yards of concrete will be placed tomorrow morning, and the steel erection is complete, and roofing will be taking place in September. North addition excavation and foundations will be ongoing over the next month within our construction area. So again, that won't be affecting anything within the school. We'll just keep coordinating with Principal Falzerano and his staff to make sure that we're not being, we're not disturbing anything going on inside of the school. All of the existing rooftop units on the existing school have been replaced and balanced and are up and running. So the school is nice and cool for the return of students and teachers next week. We did renovate this summer. We renovated the entire nurses area. That will be complete tomorrow and ready for first day of school on Tuesday. One of the challenges this summer, we had to run all of the interior hot water supply and return piping, and this was all above the ceiling throughout the entire school. It was very challenging. We were able to get there and begin work in April, working at night, and then when school got out, working during the day and weekends. So that's important because when the heating season starts, we'll have the new boiler up and running and be able to support the entire school. And then again, another challenge of working with the working in an occupied building, working hand in hand with the custodial staff, making sure we're cleaning up after ourselves, and making sure that we're not making their job harder. So that's something that will be ongoing throughout the project. That's kind of a bird's eye view of where we stand in construction updates, and I'll show a few photos here. So the third slide here. This is just after the paving went down, so this obviously it changes day by day. This is just an example of everything is base paved and striped for when the students return next week. That's just an example of our construction fencing around our work areas. What you don't see in this photo in the upper left-hand corner is we do have jersey barriers. So this is the bus loop here. We've actually widened this out per the request of the fire marshal, so there is actually more room than shown in this photo. One thing that I didn't touch on earlier was we did, at the request of the city, was put in some temporary signalization at the front of the school. So it makes it safer for people entering the school, leaving the school, and kids crossing Manchester Street and using the crosswalks. So those are operational as of today, and again, are ready to go for next week.
And Ken, they will be replaced with a permanent light
Correct.
summer.
Next summer.
And I appreciate those lights.
The next slide, on slide number 5, you'll see all this. This is in preparation for the slab placement tomorrow. This is the south addition. So that yellow stuff you see is we call it under slab vapor barrier. It's so any groundwater and moisture doesn't come up through the slab into the building. So that's in place now and ready to go for tomorrow morning. Next slide is an example of all of the rooftop units that were replaced. I believe there were 7 or 8 of them that were replaced this summer. That was part of an addendum that was voted on during the GMP. So that was, again, a big milestone to complete, especially with this hot weather we have right now. Slide number 7. Here's an example, a couple of progress photos of the new chorus addition. The framing is complete. You can see we've started to sheathe for the exterior of the building. It's done now. And then you can see the new boiler room is framed. So again, at the time of this photo, we've had much more progress in just 1 week's time. Next slide. Here's an aerial view. I know some of the folks here just took a tour of Fairgrounds, as Jamie mentioned, but here's a nice aerial photo of all the improvements that were made of the exterior of the site. So just to highlight kind of some of the things that Jamie had touched on, most of the punch list items are complete. We received a substantial completion date on August 13th, and certificate of occupancy was received on August 19th, I believe last week. We're still working through the commissioning of the existing building and kind of working out the quirks between what was new and what was old. So we're just trying to make sure that those are operating in harmony with each other. And Harvey ourselves, we have demobilized from the site, but we're still coming back and taking care of any of the little punch list items and items that we need to address to make sure things turn over smoothly next week. Yeah, so you can see this is a good photo. Alderman Dowd mentioned earlier during our walkthrough all the solar panels on the roof. I don't think a lot of people realize how much is actually up there until you can see the bird's eye view. Here's just a couple of, we didn't walk around the site to take a look at the exterior improvements, but you can see some examples of the new retaining walls that were put in at the faculty parking area. The photo on the left is the retaining wall alongside the fire lane on the east end of the school. And then also the photo on the far right is showcases the new front entry and the canopy, the metal panel, and the column covers. I think it's a real nice entry to the new building. I think this is what most people are the most excited about. This is the full renovation of the new gymnasium. The flooring you can see in these photos is in progress of being painted, and the floor will be sealed this weekend. And again, the new items in this is full renovation, floor to ceiling, all new fully operational basketball hoops, bleachers, all new wall pads, and a divider curtain as well. Here's just a couple of more photos of how the floor gets painted and some of the new bleachers. And that is it for my presentation. Are there any questions on the progress at Pennachuck or Fairgrounds?
Nope. So you want to go into your change orders?
Sure. So I gave each of the committee members a packet. All of these items were distributed
I didn't get one.
to the group.
That's mine.
Okay.
I didn't get one.
I think there's a couple people need one.
I think they were emailed to us as well.
anyone else?
I'm good. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a PCCO number 4, and to remind everybody, these are prime contract change orders. These are comprised of all of the previous potential change orders that were approved by this group in the previous JSSBC meeting. So this is just the official document that will change and alter the GMP contract price. So these are only presented if they are approved by the committee themselves. So this potential change order, or this prime contract change order, if approved, includes PR 19 for revised sewer design that was running into some existing encumbrances that were unforeseen at Penachuk, and PCO number 18, which is kind of the second part of PR 14, which is a proposal request, and this was to balance all of the existing MEP equipment within the school. So again, those two items combined, if approved, come to a total of $16,691.92.
So are there any questions on PCO number 4?
No.
No? Then can I entertain a motion to approve PCCO number 4?
So moved?
So moved by Mrs. Raymond. If there's no further discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ken?
Thank you. Now, these are PCOs. These are the prime contract potential change orders, and these are generally generated by a proposal request that we'll get from Harriman or a client request that is not captured in the contract documents. So this first PCO is PCO number 17, and this is for proposal request number 18, and this is for various landscaping changes and drip edge revisions. I think, Jamie, maybe you can help me explain this one. There was some existing bluestone that was around the existing building that was going to be salvaged.
Right. So at Fairgrounds, the existing roofs are sloped, and the water comes off those sloped roofs and was coming down onto a flat, hard bluestone. If you've ever taken the time to look at some of the siding around those sloped areas, it's brick and CMU, concrete masonry unit type surfaces. The splashing has actually caused mold, allergy, I guess not mold, but allergy and growth on the block. Over long periods of time, that will deteriorate the grout and the brick and block. So in reviewing that further as construction started, it made sense to review that and find ways to help mitigate some of that splashing that was occurring. And so what was looked at was providing a stone, like pea stone, that helps when the water comes down, it diffuses it instead of splashing back up on the wall. So this change reflects the cost to have the pea stone, which was already included, to removed, but put in the new stone drip edge around the sloped areas of the roof to help salvage that building for longer, to keep it from being damaged over long periods of time.
Thank you, Jamie. And just to clarify again, all of these documents are for Penachuk Middle School only. Fairgrounds, we're past the change order process. So again, just to clarify, typically the PCOs are comprised of, if you look at the backup, it has all the subcontractor pricing and also includes any directive that comes from the client or Harriman themselves. So this change order actually deletes some plantings. So you'll see a negative value. That is the value as a credit value from our landscaper to not install those plants. And then the add is for the pea stone and the fabric that goes underneath to not allow the weeds to come up. So it's actually quite a bit of square footage to this change. So if approved, this PCO number 17 will increase the contract value by a value of $21,545.95.
Are there any questions on this PCCO? Mrs. Raymond?
Yes, I just was curious about, so it's just the drip edge, right? There will still be additional plantings beyond the drip edge?
Yeah, some of those plantings that were removed were ones that were found in some of those areas that were going to be beat up, and they wouldn't survive in that area. So there was some removals to help salvage that stuff and be able to put this pea stone in. So yes, there'll still be we're not removing all the plantings. We're just removing some of those ones that were kind of would be impacted, wouldn't survive, wouldn't live. So
Yeah, the short definition of this is going to save the building, which could be a lot more expensive to repair downstream than this costs. Any other questions? Seeing none, all those, do I need a motion for approval of PCO number 17?
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Wilshire made the motion to approve PCO number 17. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Ken?
Thank you. The next potential change order is PCO number 19, and this is for Harriman proposal request number 20, and this is for some additional card readers. This was this change order came about in reviewing with the city security team, and it was discovered that we're going to need to provide card readers at the interior side of, I believe there's 5 doors there. This was something that was not included in the contract documents, but is more of a safety issue to keep this school secure. If approved, this PCO will increase the contract value by $17,056.37.
Any questions on this PCO number 19? Oh, Mrs. Raymond?
Sorry, this comes from our security team?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, then I'll make the motion.
So Mrs. Raymond made the motion for approval of PCO number 19. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. The next potential change order is PCO number 20, and this is a credit for miscellaneous metals. So a credit is savings to the contract. So I found that I actually purchased, I double bought something during the GMP, and in fleshing out those details, I found a $6,000 savings between our structural steel and miscellaneous metal contractors. So I was able to get a credit for $6,000. So if approved, this credit will be in the total value of $6,000 returned.
So PCO number 20 is for a credit of $6,000. Any questions?
Can I move to save money? I never get to make motions like that.
I assume Alderman Clee wanted to make a motion?
No, I didn't want to, I just have a question. We actually have to approve saving the money to
Yes.
this change, just because it's a change order, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, I just wanted
We-
clarification on that.
So we are always sure when that we get credits for things that aren't spent.
And it becomes part of the record, thank you.
And there are many, as we go through the process, any monies left over always come back to the project.
I will allow, I mean, not allow, I will let our wonderful President Raymond to make
Who's
that
making the
motion.
motion? Mrs. Raymond's making the motion to approve PCO number 20. Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Ken?
Thank you. The next potential change order is PCO number 21, and this was kind of something that popped up in the field that we asked the client and the design team. There's an existing chimney that's no longer being used and that kind of taking up space. I've included some photos in the back of the packet that the committee members have. So this scope includes demolishing the existing chimney, the installation of steel to infill the existing roof, and then the replacing of the roof itself in that area. So there's 3 different trade contractors included in this change, and if approved, this would be increase the contract value of $10,000, It's $10,263.34.
So this removing the chimney, as was discussed with Mr. Smith, there's the very high potential of the chimney just sitting there not being used for anything, that it's going to leak and cause other problems, and will be maintenance downstream that will probably exceed that $10,000. So rather than have another penetration in the roof that we don't need, I suggest that we approve this. Did you want to add anything, Sean?
I think you summarized it very well.
Okay. Any questions? Would someone like to make the motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, Mrs. Gouthright, did you write your, okay. All right, so any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ken?
Alderman Dowd, this is the final PCO that's being presented tonight. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll preface it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. As I'm sure everybody is aware, material costs have been escalating far outstripping what normally expected. There are a couple of contractors that have their material costs that far exceeded what they were able to bid, and puts them in jeopardy, actually. I did check with Corporation Counsel, and we can cover that, but we would negotiate a price with them, and there'd be no fee, there'd be no profit. It would just to be offsets the increased material cost. Some PCO, not PCO, some piping that used to be a couple dollars is now like, what was it, Ken?
The PVC you were telling me earlier from $1 to
PVC, all the steel, metal studs, those are the main components of the increase.
The cost have far exceeded what was bid, and it's and I did check with Corporation Counsel, and to be fair to these contractors, and we don't want them to go out of business because we get another school to build. So what we want to do is add money to the material escalation allowance for Harvey and let them negotiate with the vendors, and then they will come back to us with what was spent. But we want to increase the material escalation allowance up to a level of $275,000. I think it's $25,000 now. We want to increase it to $275,000 because the prices has just gone crazy. So, does anybody have any questions on that? Mrs. Raymond?
Oh, I went to press the button and there's no button on these. Is that only for Penachuk, or is that for the scope of the
Only
entire?
Penachuk.
Only Penachuk. Okay.
And just to clarify, this is a not to exceed allowance, so
Right.
any funds that are unspent are returned
back.
back to the city.
Okay.
And I have
That
this
was
plea.
actually-
That was your question?
That was actually my question.
I knew it.
He read my mind.
We don't need any additional monies. We have the money to cover this, and as you said, any money's not used, come back to the contract, come back to the school district. Yes, Mrs. Brown?
I was kind of going along the same question line as well. Is there a chance that it will be very close to that $275,000 mark? Is that pretty realistic? Is there a chance that it's going to be considerably less?
Since we did a not to exceed, we made sure it was a safe number. So you don't have to come back and keep asking. So as I
That's a
said,
pretty big
anything that's not
increase.
spent goes back to the project. But, and it's, you know, until we talk to them and find out what they're willing to agree with, we don't. Oh, Alderman Guthrie?
Did I hear you correctly? So this is money that's already set aside?
We have, this money falls within the budget for Penachuk.
Penachuk, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, somebody like to make a motion to approve PCO 22?
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Wilshire made the motion to approve PCO number 22. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Aye.
carries.
Nay.
Okay. I think that's it, Ken?
That's it for me. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Sean, are you doing the audiovisual projection system quotes for Fairgrounds?
I am. Our IT director, Greg Rodriguez, couldn't make it tonight. He too has a back-to-school night or something wherever he resides and couldn't make it, so I said I'd stand in. So this is for projection systems for Fairgrounds Middle School. It is in the budget. We have $149,000 remaining in that line, so it's definitely covered by what we have. They brought 3 contractors through the school, show them what needed to be done. Myself looking at the bids, I think there's different understandings amongst the contractors what had to be done. Some spent more time on putting their bids together than others, which is not unusual when dealing with different contractors. But the clear winner and low bidder is also the company that IT prefers to work with. They've been working with them for years. That's Pro AV. So this buys a projection system for every single classroom, and it also provides the TV system for each of these 3 common areas. The details in your packet if you care to look at it, but it's actually looks like a 75-inch TV is going to go in the commons area, so it's going to be a good size TV.
That's in these areas.
We're in the commons area, yeah. So each of the 3 commons area will have that. Plus every classroom will have a projection system. So, again, 3 bids. The low bid was Pro AV Systems. They provided a price for the commons area TVs and connections of $10,717. For the classroom projecting systems, it was $103,498. That comes to a total of $114,215. And the administration recommends you approve that amount
So that
for
was
that contractor.
114,250?
215.
215. Okay.
What was the first one, the 10,000?
10,717.
Okay, so we had always had those in the budget. This is just finalizing the contractor that it would be awarded to, and so that they can be purchased and installed. There's a large TV in each one of these common areas, so when they have the students in here, they can get on the internet, they can do all types of presentations from their computers, and it's part of today's technology for middle schools. Any questions? This is Raymond.
Yes, are these like overhead projectors that are built into the ceilings, or plug-and-play ones where each teacher could plug it into a
These are the
laptop or
overhead
something?
that'll shine onto like a whiteboard sort of thing.
Right.
So my question then is, what is the upkeep cost of these types of projectors? I'm aware that we have them in new Searles, and we haven't had the budget to keep them up to date, keep them fixed, and keep them functioning.
Well, these
That
be-
would be a good question for Mr. Rodriguez, and I unfortunately
Right.
don't have it. I mean, typically, the cost is to replace the bulb
Which is,
projectors. I don't know what those costs.
They would have an initial guarantee, so they would be covered under a warranty for some period of time, and it would be after that. And I'm sure the Board of Education wants to ensure that they have an adequate IT budget. So that would fall back to the Board of Education and the IT director. But it's something that is pretty critical to the middle school education, and that's what we're here to make sure we watch out for. So, any additional questions? Do I have a motion to approve the award of a bid for $114,215 to Pro AV Systems?
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Brown. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. John, do you have that for me to sign, or? Well, not now, after.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, there was not a bid sort of thing to sign.
Okay.
So we'll just be doing the purchase order.
Purchase order. All right, and HSI Hayner Swanson change order, you covering that, Sean?
Yes, I am. So in your packet, there was a change order from Hayner Swanson. They are a surveying company, and they had to do additional surveying services. This is for the new middle school, and if you recall, there was the lot that we owned, and then there was the lot that we purchased from the Gagnon sisters, and there was a small bow tie shaped piece in between.
Brothers.
And did I say that right,
Yeah.
Mr. Dowd?
Yeah,
Alderman
it's
Dowd?
the brothers.
The
Gagnon
brothers. Well, the bow tie was from the brothers. I think the other piece was from the sisters.
Oh, the other piece was from the sisters.
Yes.
Well, no, it's, yes. it was.
One big happy family. So anyway, they had to do some surveying for us to push that through our system and get it surveyed so that we could do the procurement documents. And all that work's actually been done. And the work was previously approved by Alderman Dowd back on August 5th. So we're looking for your concurrence with that decision.
In the
And it
amount
was
of,
in the amount of $10,750.
all right, we needed to do this and needed to do it right away because it was needed by Attorney Leonard in the negotiations with the Gagnon brothers attorneys. And we have come to a purchase and sale agreement, and we're going to be going before the planning board just for a subdivision plot because we're cutting their property in two. So it basically makes two lots out of one. And we needed that professional surveying. Are there any questions? Somebody like to make a motion to approve the payment of the change orders to Hayner Swanson, the amount of $10,750.
I'll make it.
Mrs. Raymond, any additional questions? No, this is basically authorizing, because I already signed off and it's already been done. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And just for clarification, the chairman of the joint special has a spending authority up to a certain limit, so on anything that has to be done urgently, and when you're dealing with attorneys, it seems like everything's urgent, so. Okay, Vanessa contract amendment number 4, Sean?
Actually, we had another Hayner Swanson
Oh.
contract that.
That was 5?
This was
6. Change order 6.
change order number 3, revision
Oh, 3.
1. This was for them to prepare a stormwater pollution prevention plan and then to provide the environmental monitoring during the construction process. So
Oh, okay.
it's all required by the state. You're required to have an independent company do all that work. So they provided the proposal to do so. And again, since we were kind of up against time, Alderman Dowd approved that, so we're looking for your concurrence with his decision. That came to the amount of $44,950.
Again, state requirement, and just for anybody that happens to be watching, there is no stormwater, any water that's going to leave the property of the new school. Everything is going to be retained in different ways, retention ponds and other ways of treating the water. But this information had to be done for the state, so. Any questions? And so I need an approval of Hayner Swanson change order number 3 in the amount of $44,950. It has already been approved, but we need the concurrence from the joint special.
I'll make the motion.
Okay? And
Ms. Bishop does.
Mr. Bishop. So, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we need to do anything with certificate of occupancy other than the fact that we have it?
We have to talk about the Vanessa and Associates contract.
Oh, I'm sorry,
amendment
we
next.
skipped Vanessa.
The amendment number 4 to their contract dated July 26th. This was also approved by Alderman Dowd on August 2nd. Again, we were right in the throes of trying to get the Pennachuck Middle School project moving. This had to do with laying out the right-of-way at the intersection of Manchester and Ferry Road and intersection of the school itself. So the change order came to a total of $2,500. Looking for your concurrence with Alderman Dowd's.
Yeah, again, this was something critical to move things along to get that light installed, and as you can see, it was turned on today. School starts Tuesday, so we didn't have a lot of slack. So we had to get that work done. So somebody like to make the motion?
I'll make the motion.
Alderman Cleve made the motion. Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now the certificate of occupancy.
Well, just in your package, this would be a nice, colorful certificate of occupancy for Fairgrounds Middle School. Thank you
So-
very much, Harvey, and thank you, Harriman.
Most highly welcomed by the principal of. Okay, invoices. Sean?
Okay, I will read these from your most recent agenda that you received. Sorry, we sent out several because some items came in late, including the audiovisual bids. But, so we have 3 invoices from Harriman, who's our architect for the project. One each for the new middle school, for Fairgrounds, and for Pennachuck. The 3 totaled $89,318.21. For Harvey Construction, we had invoices for Fairgrounds and Pennachuck. So 2 invoices, those totaled $2,377,616.52.
Can you repeat that one more time? 3,000, 3 million?
2,377,
2 million.
Million.
2 million.
We wish it was 2,000.
2,377, 616.52.
Okay,
Sometimes
continue.
I confuse myself, sorry. It gets easier because the numbers after this are much less. We have one invoice from Hayner Swanson, who's our surveying company. It's for work at Pennachuck for $747.50. One invoice from John Turner Consulting for work at Pennachuck for $6,120. And John Turner is our testing agency. One invoice from Page Street, who provides our ground storage units, for $95. It's for the unit at Fairgrounds. This will be the last invoice from them for Fairgrounds, then we'll be picking up one at Pennachuck. We had 3 invoices from Vanessa and Associates, 2 for the new middle school for work at the intersection and with Buck Meadow, and then one at Pennachuck. Those totaled $16,009.89. And then finally, one invoice from the Turner Group. They're our commissioning agent, so they're going after the fact, after the work is complete, ensuring the HVAC systems are working properly as designed. One invoice is work at Fairgrounds for $15,169.23. And all that comes, as soon as I flip to the right page, to a grand total,
$2,505,076.35.
correct.
One more, 2 million what?
$2,505,076.35. So I need a motion to approve the payment of the following invoices. Harvey Construction, of $2,377,616.52. Herman A&E, the amount of $89,318.21. Vanessa and Associates, $16,009.89. Turner Building Science, $15,169.23. Page Reynolds, $95. John Turner Consulting, $6,120 for a grand total of $2,505,076.35. Who would like to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Alderman Wilshire made the motion. Are there any questions on the invoices?
I just have one quick question, not necessarily really on the invoices, as much as, will this be the last we see of Fairgrounds invoices, or will there still be more coming in?
I hope Fairgrounds stays here for a long time.
No, no, I said, for this project, or will it be the last, or will we still be getting some
I-
trickling in?
don't think we have any additional.
No, we'll still be seeing additional, particularly Harvey, because they wrap things up, they go through the punch
Yeah, there'll be
list.
some minor stuff.
We just approved projection systems for here.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're going to see that. We still haven't received the invoices for the IT system work that was done here.
I
there's still-
I just wanted to make that clear that just because this is opening and everything, we still have invoices coming in.
And the big question I think you might want to ask, yes, we're under budget
Of course, of course.
and definitely on schedule, since they're opening Tuesday.
Thank you.
All right, so the motions were made to approve the invoices to $2,505,076.35. Was there any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We pay the bills. Okay. Now, it's not on the agenda, but I'm going to allow the opportunity for public comment. If somebody would like to present public comment to the joint special, please state your name and address for the record. You better pick up the microphone or nobody's gonna. No, you can hear him? All right.
Am I okay?
Speak up.
Can you
Just-
hear me now?
They need you.
Okay. Hi, I'm Carol Sarno, 15 Rocky Hill Drive, Nashua, New Hampshire. Although I am a member of the Conservation Commission, I am not here representing the commission this evening. The chair of the commission would be here, but she had a prior commitment that she needed to attend. So I'm here to talk about the new school, which came before the Conservation Commission at our early July meeting. That was our first exposure to the new school in terms of the Conservation Commission. I know you folks have been working on it for a long time, but we just learned about it in July. It would have been really great if it had come before us sooner, when we could have, I feel, more meaningful input. So after it came to the commission, we then had a site walk in July to evaluate the 11 wetlands and vernal pools that include vernal pools that are on the site. In August, as was noted earlier, we gave the project an unfavorable recommendation. And as was noted earlier, the project will come again before the commission in September for another vote. I have concerns about, one, the impact of the proposed school on the fragile habitats that exist in this forested and wetland-rich area, and also about the intensity of the development. It appears to me that about 90% of the larger parcel will be impacted by the school, either in the form of buildings, roads, playing fields, courts, etc. Vernal pools, and there are several on this site, are where amphibians breed in the spring. These species, amphibians, actually spend most of the year outside of the vernal pool. So they spend about 11 months out of the year in the forested areas that surround the pool. So if you leave the pool and you develop all around it, you essentially leave a non-functioning vernal pool. You've got the kids can be born, but they have no place to live out their adult life. So this is an issue, as far as I'm concerned, and others on the commission. So the intensity of the development definitely threatens the viability of the vernal pools. So I totally understand that we need a new middle school, and I hope that we can come to some solution that works, that allows us to place a school on that parcel, but protects, and at the same time protects the vernal pools and other wetlands and forested areas that are there. Ideally, I would like to see the project downsized. Ideally, I'd like to see the footprint of the school reduced And also, since that's maybe not that likely, I'd like to see the footprint of the playing fields reduced. Playing fields, courts, track, et cetera, take up a lot of the space. And so those are my personal wishes. And I thank you for allowing me to speak tonight and also for allowing me to join you on your tour. This is a wonderful building, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you. And I just want to point out that we have a working session with the Conservation Commission next Wednesday. We have come up with some ideas, and we'll be talking to you about it.
That's great. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Okay, comments by committee members. Anyone? I know, it's too warm in here, that's... Mrs. Raymond?
I actually don't think it's too warm in here now. I'm quite comfortable. But I just wanted to thank Mr. Parker and thank Mrs. Coffey for arranging this tour for us and letting us get a little preview of the building before the students come back. I really enjoyed seeing all of the new spaces and seeing how the science rooms came together and the different colors for the different wings of the school, which, having been here before, I love this and I think it's fantastic and I think it will help, especially the new students coming in who haven't been here before. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Yeah, the school used to be a lot darker. Now it's light, bright, and that's got to help with the students coming in. And now they have lockers they can actually put something in. I don't know if they're going to be using because of COVID, but eventually they'll have lockers they can actually put their backpacks in. And I think the collaborative educational piece of being able to have an entire 6th, 7th, or 8th grade in one of these collaborative rooms and use the technology to improve their education, I think it goes a long way. The whole intent of the new middle school concept, when it was supposed to be imposed years ago, but we didn't give the facilities to do it, and now we are, is to make it an easier transition for students coming out of elementary school, which is handled a lot differently, and going to high school. And this sort of transitions them much easier into that high school environment, which is, and I had a 6th grader, and I saw a granddaughter. I don't have a 6th grader. that just went into Pennachuck last year, and I could see the change in her from elementary to middle school, but reined in because 6th graders and 7th graders and 8th graders, they gradually transition to getting into that high school environment, which is a whole different animal. So, yes?
I just would like to say a couple of things.
Might want to introduce yourself because a lot of people aren't know.
I'm Anthony Parker, Assistant Superintendent for Secondary. And I was not here prior to the start of construction, but it's been wonderful to see the evolution in each stage over the last year. And I've toured this building in various stages with Sharon, Mrs. Coffey, over several times over the year. And I do want to point out to Jamie Willett and to Mr. Lamarier. It has been a pleasure seeing you in action, your flexibility, your thoughtfulness in putting all this together. So I just wanted that on the record. And Mr. Smith, you did okay too.
That is a Coast Guard salute. So, I don't think a lot of people realize when they send us things on the middle school, I mean, there's a lot of work involved. And with this project, there's at least 7 different companies involved, either directly or indirectly. And I know I visit the schools at least once a day, every week, not on the weekends, hopefully. And there's always something. Every day there's something that we have to drive through to get completion. Pennachuck, we have the Pennachuck Waterworks putting in a solar farm next door. We had to move a gas vault off of Manchester Street onto the Pennachuck property. So we went through 6 different easements, which had to be worked through with Attorney Leonard. She did a fantastic job with the purchasing of the property and the easements, and so there's a lot of work involved in this project. And Sharon? Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to thank the committee and the city for providing us with this beautiful school. It's really, it's really amazing. I started here in junior high, and to see how it's changed since the 60s is really great.
Yeah.
And we're very appreciative of it here, and I think the kids and the staff is going to be very excited when
Excellent.
they come next week. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Alderman Clee.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to make a comment. Today, I'd gotten some phone calls from the commission, the Conservation Commission, about, why it took so long and so on. And both parties here have kind of talked about all of the pitfalls and all the corners that we've come into. As you pointed out, Chairman Dowd, is that there were so many different people, so many different entities. There was the easements, there were things like the lights, having to redo everything, talk to all the teachers, talk to all the staff and so on, to get everybody's buy-in. It wasn't a snub to the Conservation Commission. I think at the last moment, when you realized that maybe we should be bringing those in, you brought them in the moment that you could. I just want the public to know that there was no snub, no oversight, It just, sometimes things happen, but I do agree that it was good to bring them in at the last moment, even if we're hitting this wall and pitfall. It's good to get everybody's voice into it, so I appreciate you doing all of that, so thank you.
And COVID did have some impact on things. We had planned a lot more things down on the property, and then with COVID, it was much of an issue. And also, we had 2 land acquisitions in there as well, which
Yes.
took a lot of negotiations. So, if there's nothing else, do we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, there's a motion to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned at 8:06 p.m. Thank you, everyone.